Our next speaker is Dr. Suman Singhal. I request her to present on role of CTA in vulnerable plaque assessment. Dr. Suman Singhal, please.
Yeah. Good afternoon, everyone. First of all, I would like to thank the organizers and the dignitaries of this conference to giving me the opportunity to be part of this imaging part of the conference. I will be speaking on role of CT coronary angiography and vulnerable plaque assessment. As we all know, rupture of a vulnerable atherosclerotic plaque, which has a thin fibrous cap and a large lipid core, is the most common cause of acute coronary syndrome. So by CT coronary angiography, by early detecting these vulnerable plaques, which are going to rupture and cause the ACS, is where we are today. So as we are discussing in this forum, the plaque imaging mainly, Dr. Parul has also shown that a vulnerable plaque has a thin fibrous cap, a large lipid core, and spotty calcification. There can be positive remodeling, which can happen in these plaques. We have different imaging modalities to diagnose these vulnerable plaques. MRC is already covered, and we have PET, and by SPECT also we can see these plaques. Different people have used OCT, IVUS, NIRS to diagnose these vulnerable plaques. But everything has a pros and cons. Like OCT cannot assess the plaque burden, though it has a very good characterization of plaque and thrombus. The grayscale IVUS has a poor sensitivity for the thrombus, though it can identify the plaque burden very well. Similarly, the other techniques are there. And in CT is very good to diagnose vulnerable plaque features like large lipid core, the spotty calcification, positive remodeling. But the spatial resolution of CT is less, and there where the limitation is that it cannot diagnose the thin fibrous cap. So the vulnerable plaque features on CT are low attenuation plaque, that is less than 30 HU, positive remodeling, the spotty calcification, and napkin ring sign. So we will cover one by one. Low attenuation plaque is a plaque which has a density less than 30 HU. So any low density plaque, if you see, you put the cursor and you get it less than 30 HU, that is a low attenuation plaque or a lab, what we call it. Then second thing is the positive remodeling, which is based on the Glasgow phenomenon, where whenever there is a plaque which has started occurring and increasing in size, there is a compensatory expansion by the artery so that the lumen is not narrow. So that happens for some time, and later there is a limit to that, and then the stenosis starts occurring. So positive remodeling is a phase where we can actually see the wall by CT, and we can diagnose positive remodeling. Like here we take the lumen diameter, the full diameter at the point of the lesion and the reference vessel, and we calculate the remodeling ratio. If that is more than 1, that is a positive remodeling, and if it's less than 0.9, that is negative remodeling. So whenever you see a positive remodeling, that is again a feature of a vulnerable plaque. This is how you take it. This is a plaque, low density plaque, which is there, and you calculate the distance at the proximal to it, and then at the point of the lesion. And if it's more than 10% of the reference vessel, that is positive remodeling. Now the second thing is, the third thing is, spotty calcification. So any calcification which is less than 3 millimeter in diameter is a spotty calcification. So that is how you differentiate it from the large chunky calcifications which you normally get in a CTCA. So which can be again small spotty, intermediate spotty, or a large spotty calcification depending on the size. So if you see small calcific foci surrounded by this low attenuation plaque, these are the spotty calcification. Napkin ring sign. This is a very, very important sign. And if you see this in a plaque in a coronary CT, this is or this tells us that this plaque is vulnerable, unstable, can rupture. So whenever you see this low density area within the hyperdense plaque, this is the lumen here, this is calcification, this is the plaque, and if you see this low density area, that is a napkin ring sign which is present, which is an independent precursor for a vulnerable plaque and an acute coronary syndrome. If you see a plaque like this, but no hypodense area in between, that is without a napkin ring sign. So they actually compared the low attenuation plaque and the napkin ring sign in CTCA, which is seen here, along with the OCT, and it actually compared to OCT, it was section to section, similar findings were found in a CT coronary angiography. So nowadays, plaque imaging, which is a very hot topic in CTCA, and one should include this in your routine CT reporting. You should see when you see the plaques, either the plaque is non-calcified, partially calcified, or a calcified plaque. Then you look at the high-risk plaque features, whether they are there or not, like low attenuation, spotty calcification, or positive remodeling. And then you say whether the napkin ring sign is present or not, and a plaque is heterogeneous or a homogeneous plaque. Now, relative there, whenever if you get any plaque feature, the relative risk increases to 32. And per each plaque, each feature also has a different relative risk, which can be seen in this JACC article of 2014. This is the image taken from JACC Imaging 2013, where they showed the importance of diagnosing these vulnerable plaques. This patient had undergone a CT before, and he had features of vulnerable plaque in his LAD, and he did not get anything done later. And 10 months later, the patient presented with an acute MI, and the same plaque was if they see these vulnerable plaque features, we should report them, because this will help the clinician to diagnose that yes, this is a plaque, this should be treated before it actually ruptures. Williams et al. Also by JACC 2019 article demonstrated that if an obstructive disease is there and one or more of these high-risk plaque features are there, it increases the 10-fold increase of having the myocardial infarction. In CAD-RADS also, vulnerable plaque has been included as a modifier. So whenever in CAD-RADS you are reporting a CTCA, if you see these features, use the CAD-RAD higher stenosis and then the slash, and whether this vulnerable plaque like this is here. So you put it as CAD-RADS 2, 3 or a slash V. So that is telling them that this is a vulnerable plaque which is present. We have got this new CT machine with AI, which gives us nicely all the plaque features in this color coding with this IVUS images, where we can actually see a calcification, the lipid core, the positive remodeling, and the lumen very well. This was a patient who had come to us just in a atypical chest pain and no definite cause of acute coronary syndrome. And when we did the CTCA, the calcium score was 0, but there was a significant plaque, almost 90% stenosis with these vulnerable plaque features. Positive remodeling was there. There was a napkin ring sign. So this is really helpful in diagnosing it further. This patient had undergone a coronary cath angio and a plasty later. By these semi-automated plaque quantification techniques are also there with certain vendors, where they can actually see the plaque burden also they can calculate by the CTCA. The plaque progression, again CTCA is a non-invasive modality, which is a very definitive one to monitor whether the plaque is progressing or not. It also helps us, like it is not just the luminography, it is much more than that. We can see the wall, we can see the heart as a whole, we can see the positive remodeling, and it really helps us to diagnose further, not just the anatomical imaging. By the recent Scott Hart article also, it is an important prognostic indicator, CTCA, for diagnosing the vulnerable plaque as well as the stenosis. Radiomics is something which can be applied, which can be applied to different imaging modalities, and depending on the data algorithms, it can be used in future to diagnose these vulnerable plaques and plaques with napkin ring sign. So to conclude, MDCT is a really good modality, non-invasive, to look at the plaque vulnerability with all the vulnerable plaque features. And in patients with ACS, the combined presence of these three features identifies the unstable region with a positive predictive value of almost 95%, negative predictive value of 60%, and an accuracy of 70%. It is currently a very important modality to diagnose vulnerable plaques. According to this JACC 2020 article, we have come a long way from just illuminography to functional imaging by CT-FFR. We can diagnose the inflamed coronary plaques by the perivascular fat attenuation index, the vulnerable plaque features, the assessment of the coronary stenosis, and the functional implication also by the CT-FFR. So we are here with coronary stenosis, atherosclerotic burden, plaque vulnerability, and doing the asymptomatic risk stratification for the patients. So there in the future, according to JACC recent intervention article, the CTCA will be used for planning PCI probably in future. And this is kind of one-stop shop, tells us calcium score, CAD-RADS, morphology, plaque analysis, CT-FFR, myocardial perfusion, and it is really helpful from anatomical to functional imaging. These are our articles in different books. So thank you so much. Welcome to any questions if they're there.
Thank you, madam. We will take the questions to the end of the session.